Welcome to another episode of Entrepreneurs in Fuego. We're documenting the journey of amazing. And I don't use the word amazing all the time because it's probably one of the most used words on Facebook. And I had this pet peeve about using the word amazing because people
I understand.
use it, kind of perfunctorily. Yeah, it's just another word. They don't mean it. I mean it. PRAEDIUM advisors. Victor,
Francisco.
Allison, how are you?
My pleasure.
PRAEDIUM, by the way, PRAEDIUM means land, right? It's a piece of land.
Latin, yeah.
Latin. It's a Latin
word for
It's a Latin
land,
word.
essentially, yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially
Yeah.
that. All right. Tell us more about the PRAEDIUM and tell us more about the land and what you specialize in.
Well, I specialize in multifamily investment properties and multifamily development sites. So we either sell existing multifamily properties, apartments, or
Yes.
townhome developments to investors who are looking for a return, or we sell them either land where they can build such product, or we sell them old run-down properties where they can knock them down and build new developments, multifamily properties.
One would say that here in Phoenix or some places in Scottsdale, there's still a lot of land. Is that true, or is that a fair statement?
Well, they're not making any more land, so there's definitely a fixed quantity.
Right.
And
Desirable land. I would
desirable land, yeah, exactly, because most of the good land, at least right now, is already taken. It's a question of finding the infill sites. That's the hottest market right now, is finding something that's underutilized and repurposing the land.
And that's what's hot right now.
That's what's hot right now.
How long have you been in this business?
1998?
Since 1998. So
Yeah.
you've seen the
Ups
highs,
and the
the
downs.
downs, and inevitably, if there's anything that we learn about real estate and the economy, is that we will have, right now we're up here, I guess, or seemingly
We're
just
near the
escalating a
top.
little bit, near
Yeah,
the
things
top.
are getting stupid again.
When they start getting stupid again, Victor, what do you do? What do you recommend your buyers or investors?
That's a tough question.
Do you tell them, listen, this is a good opportunity, it looks like a good opportunity, but we're going to have a downturn. Be prepared. And if you are prepared for that, then go ahead and buy it. But if you're not prepared, you don't have the cushion to withstand the
Right.
next recession,
Yeah.
that it will happen. You don't have to be a Houdini to know that.
The mistake is to buy something highly leveraged at the top of the market, and then things turn down, your income goes down, you can't service the debt, and ultimately you'll probably lose the property to foreclosure.
And then the next wave will come
And the next
around.
wave comes and somebody else will buy your property for pennies on the dollar, and they will do really well, whereas you didn't do so well.
And then the bigger fool theory applies, because then you'll sell what you think you got a great return, and then the greater fool buys that property until the greater fool buys that property until the music stops, and then it
Right,
remains
the greater
second.
fool theory ends near the top of the market. The last greater fool is the fool.
And we're nearing the greater fool point.
Greatest fool,
The greatest fool. We're nearing
Yes.
the greatest fool.
yes.
You see it because you've been at this for a long period of time.
Right.
Does the market in general, Victor, kind of put their blinders on and say, we're just going to ride this?
Many do. There are smarter ones who don't and see it coming, and they'll stop buying, or better yet, they'll sell at the top of the market, hold their cash, wait for the market to turn, and then they buy again.
Well, let me ask you, what is the smart money doing now?
Right now, there's still a lot of greater fools out there, unfortunately. We're seeing prices like somebody buys something and it's sold for what? And I can't believe they paid that much, but they are still. And so the smartest money is probably staying on the sidelines a little bit right now.
That is interesting to learn, because the greatest fool probably thought that they got a deal, because they're always thinking that it just continues to grow, right? There's no...
Right. The general statement is you make money buying real estate, not selling it, but you have to, as they say for stocks, you buy low and sell high. And if you're buying at the top of the cycle, you can't pretty much do anything except buy high, unless you can find that nugget where there's a seller who just has to sell and he's willing to unload it because there's a crisis, a divorce, a sickness, they need cash. Real estate is not that liquid, and they just need to get out with cash.
How do you find, I mean, there's a lot of money chasing too few goods.
Yes.
That fair statement. How do you find the deals? Because that's the trick. I mean, we are bombarded with all these real estate classes, and I'll teach you how to flip and this and that and that. Money doesn't seem to always be a commodity that is going to run out. There's always seems to be money available.
There's always money.
Deals, however, and by deals I mean the right deals, are very few and far between. How do you find those deals? Do you have a trick? A method?
No, there's not a trick. There's more of a method. It's not easy. It's a question of knowing the market, knowing the marketplace, looking at the individual properties, perhaps knowing who the seller is and what their situation is, and knowing how well they've kept up the property, whether there is any upside left in the property. A lot of people these days are looking for the value add property, and that's something where you've owned a property, you've been cheating a little bit, you've been putting all the money in your pocket, you've not been putting any money back into the property to paint it, to fix up the landscaping.
So the deferred maintenance is
the
visible.
deferred maintenance, yes,
Right.
is getting to be extreme, and people are looking for properties with deferred maintenance. They're coming in, again, they're smarter than you, they think, and they're going to buy it and fix it up and raise the rents and have the property be worth more, and then the next guy comes along and will buy the property from the second person at a higher price than they paid, and it perpetuates. And eventually you get into the investors who are strictly looking for the existing cash flow. These are more the institutional investors who are not necessarily chasing the double-digit return. They're happy with something
6-7%.
better, something better than they can get with their CD in the bank, and they're happy with a 5% return.
A little bit more stability.
Right.
Some of the best deals that you've found, are those deals the ones that you weren't really looking for, and that may just happen to have been referred by somebody else, or that you just stumbled in?
No, I wish I could say that they just fall in my lap, but I found that I've not been lucky. I've not been lucky in that respect. I've had to work for every deal that I've put together.
And when you say you have to work for every deal, does that mean you've done emails, oral school phone calls, or you find who the owner is, you reach out to that
Right.
owner?
It's a process, and yeah, like you say, the deals have not fallen into my lap. I knew the right guy at the exact right time, and I knew this other guy who wanted to buy the property. It does happen. It just hasn't happened to me.
It has to be frustrating, though, at times, where the number of deals that are available are not plentiful. Let's take us back maybe, I don't know, not so long ago, 8 years ago perhaps, where the market just bottomed out and
Right.
just there were deals aplenty.
Exactly.
But right now we're reaching where, that point where, again, there's not that many deals available, but everybody is owed all this money, and everybody's an expert, and they're buying all these deals. It's got to be frustrating not to have enough inventory, I guess is what I'm saying.
There's always inventory out there. It's just a question of looking for it. Somebody is always willing to sell. It's a numbers game, and everything's for sale at the right price. 5-6 months ago, we made an offer to a guy for a $75 million property. And he said, I'd love to sell it for $75 million, but I can't. I've got internal things with my company, and if I sell it, what am I going to do with that $75 million? I don't want to put it in the bank and get 1%. I've got to find something to replace it with. And then, of course, there's the tax thing that comes along with selling the property.
1031 exchange,
right.
and a million things.
Right. So he would have been happy to sell, but he can't sell. And so we were frustrated in that we had a seemingly willing seller. We certainly had a willing buyer, but we couldn't put the deal together. Now, I keep track of this guy, and I call him once a month, because eventually there'll come a point in time when either one, I'll be able to find him another property he can trade into, or his internal situation will have changed, and he'll be willing to take the $75 million.
And so as part of your strategy, let's call about this your marketing strategy. It is imperative that you follow up with this person, even if this individual hangs up the phone or doesn't take your calls.
Yeah, no never means no in my business. No means not now.
That's what you hear when somebody says no?
Right, that's what I hear. In fact, I read a book recently, and the title was Getting to Know. And it was N-O, not K-N-O-W. And the idea was that it's okay to get somebody to say no, because then you move on to the next guy, and it is a numbers game. But
right.
Again, I don't take their initial no to be hell no, never call me again. It's no today, no, not now.
Not now. Is it easier to make money on a up market or in a low market?
That's a good question. You should be able to make money in both markets, to be sure. A lot of people leave the business when the market turns down. You'll see real estates become a dime a dozen as things are climbing up, and a lot of people are working at Starbucks when the market is turning down. So you can make money in both markets. Easier on the upswing, I think.
On the upswing.
Yeah.
And that is just because the market it's just carrying the.
There's momentum.
There's momentum. You put a sign outside and you have 3 offers.
Right.
I mean, it doesn't require that much skill. It requires a real estate license just to sell that property.
Yeah. Sort of. Yeah.
Sort of.
Yeah.
But for the most part. I mean, when the market was going like this in 2005, 2006.
Yeah. Everybody and their brother had a
Everybody in the world. 83,000 agents here in Arizona. Then it went back down to, I guess right now we have about maybe 33,000.
Okay, that's a number I don't know, but
Well,
I'll take your
the
word
number
for it.
is. It's something like that. But it's kind of an indication of what we're talking about. As a marketer, and we talked a little bit about this, as an entrepreneur, because you're truly right out there, is you, your skill, and that's it.
Right.
What do you see as your biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge is it's a numbers game. It's staying in front of the people. It's being in relatively constant contact with them and having the conversation, not so much the conversation, would you like to sell today, but how can I help you today?
Very good. The best advice you ever received?
The best advice I've ever received, wow. I'd say go into business for yourself. You're in charge, and you're responsible for your own destiny. And it's difficult, it's frustrating, but my wife works for a large corporation. She comes home frustrated almost every night because of something that she can't control. I'm in control of my destiny.
And you are so equanimous. You never high, low. You're just like this all the time. And I've known you now for some time, and you're just
I'm
very tempered.
Right. I'm a very even keel kind of guy. It takes an awful lot to get me upset. And there are a few things that get me very excited, but my demeanor is one of even, calm, cool, collected.
Do me a favor. When you close that $75 million sale, just take a little selfie, or those Facebook likes, because I want to see your face then, and I want to see that smile right there.
Yeah, it'll be there.
You'll be doing a little jig, I'm sure. You'll be dancing.
You're right about that.
With that, we're out.